Got the worst luck with these things, man. I got the worst luck with these things. All right, let me tell everybody where to come back to. Um, Started a new live. Ah. Tia, what's going on, Tia? How are you? Ah. Oh man, I'm plugged up now, guys. I'm plugged in. I'm plugged in. My computer's plugged in. I got the worst luck with these lives. It's either my mic stops working or you can't see a computer or something like that. I got the worst luck. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can see me. Let me check my YouTube to make sure I'm audible once again. Jeez. Commercial. All right. Come on. I'm waiting till everybody comes back in. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's what's up. Bad Brad, what's going on? Demps Designs, how are you? Oh gosh. Okay, so my laptop is plugged in now. My laptop is plugged in. And I'm back, guys. Sorry. I think the devil didn't want me to say what I was gonna say, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it where the powers that be press the press the end button on my live. So cut my game. Anyway, so favorite garment decorating methods. Oh, the last live, my computer just shut down. I wasn't plugged in. I have full battery, by the way, a little bit prior before I started live, but I guess the computer was sitting idle for a little while and the battery ran down fast. Either that or, you know, I was getting a little dicey. All right. So let's continue on, guys. Let's continue on. So DTF. I left off by saying a lot of the companies got into DTF printing because they saw an opportunity and they didn't want to be the last ones to jump on the boats to miss out on the money train. That's my honest opinion about what happened and what's happening with DTF. That's why you're hearing a lot of nightmare stories and not a lot of smooth transitions. I got my DTF printer, I opened it up and it was working fine, right? You don't hear a lot of those stories at all because companies are getting these printers and they're just sending them right out, or they might not even be getting them at all. They're just sending them straight to consumer. So I'm gonna leave that right there. On the flip side of this, guys, as you guys come in, please hit the thumbs up button. On the flip side of this, not only was this a huge opportunity for those companies, but don't forget that this is a huge opportunity for us as small business owners, because once you get these printers working, it's like a business in a box. And I know a lot of people are saying, yo, these printers are too expensive to have these issues. I agree with you 100%. But in business, anything, and in life, anything worth having has a few hurdles that you got to jump over. Anything that is lucrative at the end has some obstacles that you have to cross, to jump over, right? And imagine not only being able to make t-shirts with your GTF printer, but imagine that's Renee from A Principal. I'm gonna put her on live. Renee, how are you? I'm on live, by the way. So you're on live.
I guess I just wanted to check in with you. Sorry, so you can say hello to all the viewers out there they're talking to.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Hi. We're so excited to have you, Alan. So we can't wait to talk to you and see you in person. I just want to check in on you, but just call me back when you have some free time so I can go over the topics and everything with you.
Okay, we'll do. All right, talk to you soon.
All right, thanks so much, Alan. Have fun. Bye.
No problem. Bye-bye. So that was A Print Supply. I told you guys I'm be speaking at their event coming up in Buena Park, California. So make sure you guys that are in the area and can make it come out. But Bad Brad, you didn't miss too much. I was just talking about all the different garment decorating methods, what my favorite garment decorating method was, and what I think is going on with DTF. And we're gonna, you know, expand on that. So I had to get a 2-head and move on from my 1390. Yes, the 1390. Is that the Epsom, right? The L1 or whatever people say. I'm still new to DTF. I just know that a lot of people are saying that the prestigious some printer or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with that, and that's the method. That's the route that I'm going to soon. I can see myself going to soon. How long have you been printing DTFs, DJ Grandauto? How long have you been Grandauto? Yeah, DJ Grandauto. How long have you been printing DTF printing? So while he answers that question, I'm going to continue going on with what I'm saying. I'm not coming down on any of the companies, right? Because as a business, you have to do what you have to do to survive and to generate revenue. It's just sad that sometimes it's at our expense, right? It's not fair. But I'm talking to you guys from kind of like coming from the same chair that you guys are sitting in. Same thing with embroidery, same thing with every garment decorating method that you're going to go through, right? This is new. They didn't take the time to create a system to make it a smooth transition to where we get our DTF printers and everything is lined up, everything is working fine. But what I'm saying to you guys is when you get that thing, when you get through the headaches, the back and forth for the calling, hey, still not printing this, that, hey, what's going on? Hey, and they, do the remote thing to your computer and they check the settings and everything, make sure you're all hooked up. Hey, did you use a syringe and draw the inks through and all? Once you get through all of that and your DTF printer is working and you're able to, if you're the type of person that can find business and that can and create your own opportunities, imagine not only being able to make shirts, but also being able to sell transfers, getting any design from anybody, printing this out to them and selling this to them, as well as putting your own designs on this film and making t-shirts. Imagine that. Do you guys understand how powerful that is? In the chat, do you guys understand how powerful that is? In the chat. Is it just me? That's why I say that anything that's worth having comes with a little bit of headache. Comes with a little bit of headache, a little bit of aggravation initially. Right? And it's worth it. It's worth it, right? In my opinion, because I was ready to hang it up. Honestly, when I got my first DTF printer, I was ready to hang it up. That's how much of her. I'm like, this is just not. This is not it. I can't do this. I can't do videos on it. I didn't understand, right? And somebody told me to hang in there. Shout out to Gary, T-shirt help desk. Somebody told me to hang in there because I'm in for a treat after this roller coaster, and he was 1,000% right. 1,000% right. And I wish I had some more people in here that have DTF printers that can understand what I'm talking about. What do you think about what I'm saying, DJ Grandauto? How was your from when you got your DTF printer to when you first opened it up? How was that process to when you first got it running? How was that process? And am I making any sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell people? Yes, it can be a great way to get into t-shirt printing. For real, not just t-shirt printing, but also transfer selling. Now, what I'm going to say next is this. Companies saw, right, an opportunity. They took advantage of it, and they put these things out prematurely, right? even though they put them out prematurely and at the expense of us, it still created a fantastic opportunity for us. And I think the opportunity to create it created for us exceeds the hurdles that we have to jump over to get these things to work. I really do. I really 100%. I think it exceeds that. The third point I want to touch on is I think that a lot of companies, or some companies, are regretting that we now have this technology and they can't take it back from us. I'm going to stop right there and let y'all digest that for a second. I think that some companies, or a lot of companies, or a few companies, I don't know, are now looking at this technology like, oh no, what have we done? It's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Who understands where I'm going with this in the chat? Who can see? I'm on the inside of the industry, and I know I can see and feel a lot of energy in the backgrounds. You guys are on the consumer side at your houses, so you guys might not feel what I'm talking about. But all right, you have companies that for years their main business has been selling these. Do you think they're happy about all these DTF printers that are out and are coming out, and how the technology is getting better and better and better? Do you think they're happy about this? In the chat, yes or no? We're getting juicy now. We getting juicy now. Do you think they're happy that you and I have access to create these? Yes or no? We getting spicy now. Spicy. Right? Wendy, do you think that some of them are like, oh no, we messed up? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you think that eventually, do you think eventually some of these companies are going to start feeling it in their pockets? Yes or no? Definitely. I think that I think it's I'm getting a lot of calls. I'm not taking this one. Cripple Creek, Colorado. I have no idea who that is, but I'm not taking that one. Yes, definitely will. Was a future idea when hubby was alive, but sorry to hear that. But I know I can't do it alone. I do quilting, sublimation quilting, like Sarah, and all I was trying to do is keep a secondhand store open in my hubby's memory. Oh man, that's heavy. Sorry for your loss, Marge. But I encourage you to find a way to figure out how you can get things moving, whether it be with a family member or whether you just downsize and do it on your own. What's up, CTR shirts? So, it's too late. They can't stop it. It's too late. They can't stop it. The technology's out. It's too late. Once one company releases it, the other companies have to follow suit if they want before the trend or before the money train dries up, and that's exactly what happened. Now, the other companies are like, "What are you guys doing?" Because they all talk to each other. I really think they all talk to each other, even though they might be competitors and stuff like that. I really do think that some of these companies talk to each other, like the CEOs and the people at the top. I don't know, but interesting times in the garment decorating industry because we have so many different options at our fingertips, and I think that each option is a valid solution to helping to solve our financial issues if we have any, right? So as much as these printers cost and as much as people complain about the prices and stuff like that, and I've been saying this for years on my channel, there's no better investment than to buy one of these high-priced, expensive pieces of equipment, and to buy another one, and to buy another one, and to buy another one. Because when you move on to from being a hobbyist to, okay, I'm starting to make some money in this. How do I grow this thing? Once you get to that point where your garment decorating or your custom apparel business starts being a significant impact in your financial month to month, then it's worth it. Because unless you're like a financial genius, you don't even have to be financial genius, unless you're significantly more financially responsible than most people, because the average person is not financially responsible. Right or wrong? Am I lying? If the average person was financially responsible, then all of us would have a crap ton of money in our 401ks. All of us would have, all our ducks in a row. And let's be real, we don't, right? Some of us are still kids in an adult body, right? So these are huge opportunities for us. And prior to doing this, I'll give you a few examples in my case, because I know I'm not the only one, right? If I didn't have all this equipment, I would have bought a new car with the money that gave me zero return. I'd have probably bought a bigger house, which gave me zero return. I'd have probably went out and bought another motorcycle, which just give me zero return. Lots of fun and enjoyment, but I did all that before. I had a fast car, the SL500 hardtop convertible, had the GSXR 1000s, crashed those, had the R1s, did that already. I still travel, but what I'm saying is you're going to spend the money anyway. And it's not good for us to be financially irresponsible, right? But if you're going to be financially irresponsible, try to be a little bit responsible and spend your money on things that make sense, right? And something that makes sense is for you to spend some money on something that is continuously going to make you money, or some things that is going to continuously make you money, right? So we all want to get this equipment and start making money real fast right away. That makes sense. It's valid. Why not? You want to make your money back and you want to get it back right away. But what happens a lot of the time is we don't make our money back right away. We make our money back over the long run. And some people tap out before that long run comes. But buying expensive piece of garment decorating equipment is kind of like having a rental property, right? Or maybe being upside down in a rental property, maybe. I don't know. But all I know is real estate goes up in value over time. So when you buy a house, you didn't necessarily buy the house because your money lies in the value of that asset. Your money lies inside that house. So it's like you take your $300,000 from your bank account. Nobody has $300,000, well, not nobody. The majority of people are getting a loan, and you place that $300,000 inside of that asset, so that money becomes invisible. You do the same thing when you buy this equipment, right? Kind of. So there is some resale value in this equipment, but it's nowhere near like real estate. But what I'm saying is you can, over time, continuously, when you get business, continuously get money out of this thing, continuously. So it's like if you win the lottery, are you going to choose to get the lump sum, or do you want the payment over time, right? It depends on how old you are, many different variables, right? But to me, I'd rather have a steady income over years than have a bunch of money sitting in my bank account doing nothing, or have a bunch of credit that I could use, or have a loan that I could use doing absolutely nothing, not using it, right? That's what got me here, right? Knowing that, pardon my language, knowing that I'm gonna F up this money anyway. I'm gonna mess this up anyway because I'm financially irresponsible, right? I'm not like, guys, trust me, I'm not that bad. I got a 760 credit score. So I'm not financially irresponsible. I like crazy, but everybody's financially irresponsible to a certain degree. So all the headache that these machines bring is worth it, because once you get these things going, you're gonna start making so much money. It's gonna be ridiculous. One day, it's gonna take time. It doesn't happen overnight unless you have a great game plan and you're just a genius at creating business, and you get maybe you start doing government contracts or something like that. But you have to spend time with your equipment to start to get it to work, to know the ins and outs of the equipment, and to know what to do when something happens, because something is always going to happen. Even when you got a design down pack, something's always going to happen, trust me. And you got to know what to do. And once you learn what to do, then you can start making some serious bank, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna keep on elaborating on this, but you're right. It would be just a lifetime of spending money, right? People are just ignorant and machine. COVID, world shutdown. We can make money during COVID. Yep. Exactly. No, I haven't talked about DTF versus DTG printers. Not yet. I'm fine. Yes. I'm happy to. I'm lucky to have you guys too. Embroidery machines. I'm fine. What's up, M Customs? All right, so chime in if anything that I'm talking about makes sense to you guys. If you understand what I'm saying, like if the majority. All right, say let's take what's the highest costing machine? Let's say the highest costing machine is like $20,000, right? For a high price DTF machine. Let's say $30,000, or a high price 2-head or 3-head embroidery machine. In the chat, how many people can 100% say that if you had $30,000, and some of us do have that in our bank accounts, right? If you got 30 grand in your bank account right now, what are you doing with it? Are you going to leave it there? What's the first move you're going to make? In the chat. You got 30 grand in your bank account right now. What are you going to do? Be honest. Be honest with me. Don't tell me just because you're on the chat with me, I'm going to go buy an embroidery machine. I'm going to go buy a DTF machine. I'm going to go. Be honest. What you doing? Half of y'all are going to get a car. A lot of y'all paying bills. Some bills. Are you going to pay all your bills with it? Or are you going to pay some bills and then go on a vacation? Pay off some student loans. That's very responsible. I'm getting all the responsible answers. I don't think y'all being all the truthful with me. I think that you definitely would pay some bills. I think the majority of people would definitely pay some bills including student loans, right? But I think y'all are gonna sit there and look at that money and be like, right at that enter screen, you're gonna be like, should I pay all of that, or should I treat myself to a family vacation or something? Right or wrong? But see, that's my point. Yes, I want to retire early. Jennifer Hancock. When you're garment decorating and you're kind of like doing it leisurely, and you have a certain clientele, and you're not like eagerly going out to find business like that, and when it's not stressful, you don't really have to retire because you might enjoy it. I would like a she shed, aka a craft room. That's dope. Invest to make money, earn more money. Yes. I will pay off my machines. That's good. Pay my machines. Only have $250 in debt. That is amazing. Just got my machine 2 weeks ago. Haven't used it yet. Yep. Get your training and then start using your machine or start watching a bunch of videos on your machine. All right. So money should work for you, not you work for money. 100%. Money right now is depreciating in value, guys. It's depreciating in value. Don't forget that. As you guys come in, give this video a thumbs up. It's depreciating in value, so we have to be strategic with the money that we make from our 9 to 5s. If that's what you do, you have to be strategic to make that money work for you, right? And not work for that money and let it become a vicious circle. And the only way for it to not become a vicious circle is for you to start doing wiser things with your money so that you can start getting something back from that money instead of just spending it, letting it go out the door, right? So what I'm saying is when you invest money in one of these machines, that chunk of money that you spent on that machine is now starting to give you back money, right? As opposed to whatever else you would have bought. You'd have just been looking at that big screen TV sitting there and it would have been bringing you nothing. So if you can repeat that process, not only in garment decorating, but if you can get in the habit of repeating those processes, spending that money on things that's going to give you back, put things back into your wallet, then that's when over time you're going to really see a significant difference. It's like a mind trick. Like, okay, so I had vending machines before, right? And when you're not running your business properly, right? When I was younger and I had my vending machines, when you're not running your business properly, you're just getting money out of the machine, going to buy your products and putting products back in the machine, getting more money out of the machine. You're not keeping track of how much is going in and how much is coming out. And at the end of the month or at the end of 2 months, you look at your bank account and you're like, yo, there's a bunch of money in my account. I don't even know where it came from. I don't even know because I didn't do my books correctly back then, right? So, like, I shouldn't even be saying this on video. I paid taxes on all of my vending machine money back then. All right, I paid taxes on everything. But anyway, so you can't really come up with that game plan and tell people what to do because you don't know what it took for that money to accumulate. Because I'm selling $1 sodas and 75-cent bags of chips, and I'm doing other things too. Then I got my regular job, then I'm selling t-shirts on the side too back then. So it's like, while I'm doing it, I'm not getting a big sale. I'm not getting $1,000 sale every time. I'm not getting a $2,000 sale every time. But at the end of the month or at the end of 2 months, I'm like, look at my account and I'm like, whoa, where'd all that come from? Right? So it's the same way, same thing, right? So like, you got your equipment. You might not be getting all the business in the world, but you are getting some return every now and then from that investment that you would have made. If you didn't, and it's doing you better, it's serving you better than if you would have bought anything, went out to the movies and went out to dinner and went out and bought this and bought this. Something coming in, no matter how minute it is always better than something going out and having nothing coming in, right? So it's always worth it to spend that money on these machines, guys. Is that making sense to you guys? I could explain it better, but I can't. Is that making sense in the chat? Yes or no? Is that making sense? That's made on DTF and you use white powder. Do all machines require to use white powder? Yes. DTF machines, the machines with the ink, yes, they all require you to use white powder because you have to put the white powder melts and it turns into like a glue, and that is what adheres. My camera's too hot so you can't see it, but yeah, the white powder, all of them require white powder. Now, when you're doing white toner, and white toner recently started calling itself DTF because, and rightfully so, because a white toner transfer printer produces a direct to film transfer. So rightfully so, I understand why they did that. They did it for two reasons. Reason number one is because the term DTF is hot right now and it can get them more sales. And number two is a white toner is a DTF printer technically, because it produces direct to film. It prints directly to film, and you do the A to B marrying process. So I guess they can call themselves direct to film because they are direct to film. So, but it's not DTF like what we're talking about with the Prestige and stuff like that. It's not that, you know. Yeah. So all right. So moving right along. Aside from DTF, what do you guys think about vinyl right now? Because I think the people and the companies are suffering right now, and it's not only the companies that sold DTFs primarily, right? It's not only those companies that are suffering, but a lot of you guys, a lot of us, a lot of people in the garment decorating industry are like, vinyl, sublimation. I mean, sublimation still dope. Vinyl. I want a DTF transfer. So DTF is taking a lot of business away from vinyl, away from sublimation, away from all the other methods, DTG for sure, right? So it's like that's why I say like a lot of companies like, what have we done? But again, it's too late, right? What do you guys think on that? Do you guys think that DTF is taking away from vinyl sales? Yes or no? And also, do you guys think vinyl is still a valid garment decorating method? Yes or no? Jennifer says yes. Hancock, yes. Luna says 888 says yes. Now, in the chat, I'm convinced all my crafters to move on and do DTF when it makes sense. Yes, everybody say yes. So yeah, move on when it makes sense. When it makes sense is key. But I still use HTV because not everybody likes polyester shirts. Okay, not everybody likes polyester shirts, meaning you come from sublimation. Okay. All right, because polyester, you don't have to do DTF polyester. Anyway, I still think, and I still encourage, and I still think every shop should have a vinyl cutter. I think that weeding is tough. Yeah, weeding is tedious and weeding is tough, but it can also be therapeutic. But I still think that every shop should still have a vinyl cutter, and everybody should still be proficient in cutting vinyl. And I still think vinyl is relevant, very much relevant, in my opinion. I still use HCB to offer it to custom as much as I can. The way I see it, cutters are poor, so it can use bigger profit. Yes. What will last longer, vinyl or DTF? It's a tough question. That's a tough question. What would last longer, vinyl or DTF? I can't answer that question straight, but I'll answer that question this way. All right. This is ink printed onto a film with an adhesion powder on the back of it, right? You heat press this on to your shirt, and then you peel it off, and the front of it is still ink that's exposed. So when done properly, this lasts very, very long. When done properly, right? It lasts very, very long. But eventually, ink will always start to fade, right? Now, screen printing almost lasts forever. DTF shirts probably are close to lasting very, very long. I wouldn't say as long as screen printing, but long enough for us to get tired of the shirt and not even want to wear it. Vinyl. What does vinyl do? Vinyl, after a nice amount of washes, the vinyl is still there, but it starts to come off. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. The vinyl is still there, but it starts to come off. But if you flip your vinyl shirt inside out and iron it with a house iron, or even if you heat press that, or if you flip it inside out and heat press it again, and your letters are down straight and your image is down straight, that vinyl shirt is as good as new. So I'm gonna say, if I had to answer that question, I would say DTF lasts longer. But I would say that if you press that vinyl shirt and you press that vinyl down, it looks like, it almost can look like the first time you pressed it. As long as the vinyl is still there and still on the shirt halfway. I've repressed shirts and they last for a whole ton of washes again, right? So that's my take. That's why I say, people say, I don't like vinyl, it's just gonna start coming up. Yeah, but if it's gonna start coming up, it's still there. When the wash washes away ink, the ink is gone. When the wash machine washes away this ink, the ink is gone. When the washing machine brings up the vinyl and it comes out and the letter's hanging down, the letter's still there. I can lay that letter back down, flip my shirt inside out, make sure it's flat, press it again, back in business. Can't do that with DTF. Can't do that with ink. Once ink washes away, it's gone. So that's my take on that. What do you guys think? Do you get who in the chat has pressed vinyl back down if it started to come up again? Have you ever done that? Has anybody ever done that? Or you can just lay a piece of cloth over top of the vinyl and just press it back down with a hammer. I have. T-Town t-shirts. When you did that, did it look like, Luna says she's never did that. Did it look like almost like it was new again? Then Kashanda, when you pressed it back down, did it look like it was almost new again? I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, you see, Kashanda's, and yes, I've had that same experience. Now, sometimes it'll have a slight wrinkle to it or whatever, but if you press it good enough, if you lay it down good enough, it'll look as good as the first day. My customer used both on a t-shirt, vinyl and DTF, and you can do that. You can do mixed media. You can use vinyl with embroidery. You can use DTF with embroidery. You can mix. There's no rules. We make the rules in this industry, and that's why being a crafter is called being a crafter, because we're crafty and we don't let anybody, dictate how we use our materials, and we get creative and we do what we want to do and invent new ways of doing things. That's why we're crafters, right? Because we set the trends. So I use Caesar HTV forever and it lasts really long. For sure, layering. These are still there. Now, I do have some vinyl that has never come off. And I love, these are my favorite vinyls. Who can guess what my favorite vinyl is in the chat? Who can guess what my favorite vinyl is? I know one of you guys know at least what one of them is. Looks clean, and especially the reflective type. Not the company, the type of vinyl. There's types of vinyl, right? Like holographic, glitter, flock, puff, what else? Brick. Who can get 30K won't even buy a car anymore. You're right. But it can give you a heck of a down payment and you have a cheap, very inexpensive car note, unless you're buying a Lambo. But you can, a Jeep Wrangler is about $50,000 if you can finance it. You put down 30K, you finance in 20K. What are you paying, like $200 a month? Glitter, puff, stretch, flock, glitter, Caesar, flock. I got 2 flocks. Flock is my favorite vinyl. Flock is my favorite vinyl, guys. And I have never, ever had flock vinyl come up on me. Million washes, never. I've had shirts fail before the flock came off. I've never had flock vinyl come off on me at all. In the chat, anybody use flock? Have you ever had flock HTV start peeling up on you? It's almost impossible, because what flock tends to do when you wash it is it gets a little wrinkly. And what do we do? Because it's flock and it's not regular vinyl, it's kind of like a cloth. You iron right on top of it. So every single time you iron that flock, it's like you're reapplying it. I think maybe that's why flock never comes up. Never heard of that one. Flock is like, I call it fuzzy flock because it's fuzzy. It's kind of like a cloth type of vinyl, right? It's the same stuff that you use to make rhinestone templates. So is flock the best? The best is subjective. The best to me might not be the best to you. The best, I don't know what the best is. What does the best mean? Because see, flock is a different texture. So if you're not going for that texture, if not going for that type of texture, then it's not the best to you. And you can't, I won't say you can't, but it wouldn't be wise to try to use flock for every design because the way flock cuts, it can't do those real small intricate cuts because it's really, really difficult to weed flock a lot of times. Especially when it comes to smaller elements in your design. But overall, I don't think vinyl is going anywhere. Vinyl's been around since forever, and I don't think vinyl is going anywhere. I even think like DTF is never going anywhere. I think we're done that conversation. It's not, DTF is not a fad and it's not going anywhere because it's a way to put a whole print, any print you want on a garment. How can that go anywhere? What can replace that? Right? What can replace that? DTG, direct to garment, these huge printers right here. Somebody's going to have to do some serious work to get these things to be a lot better to compete with DTG. I mean, to compete with DTF. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Vinyl is still used in advertising. And with the vinyl cutter, you can do decals, right? You can do decals, huge decals. Everyone likes glitter. Everyone likes metallic. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. What about sublimation? Sublimation. I think sublimation and embroidery should not be included in talking when it comes to every other garment decorating method because embroidery it's its own thing. So you can't say is embroidery better than DTF because it's its own thing, kind of, sort of. And you can't compare sublimation to any other printing method because of how magical it is, right? Because of what it happens. Sublimation is almost like magic. I think it's its own thing. So sublimation is definitely always going to be there. The UV printers are starting to, be more prevalent and they're kind of like sublimation. But I think overall sublimation is always going to be there because of its permanency of, it's just magical. It's just magical, right? Sublimation is definitely here to stay, 100%. Best on poly, light colors, white, unless you do hacks, right? But the hacks is never good. A hack is a hack. It's never as good as the real thing. It's a hack, right? It's a knockoff. It's never as good as the real thing. So, talked about DTF, touched on embroidery. Nothing can touch embroidery in my opinion. Talked about sublimation is not going anywhere. Vinyl's not going anywhere. I think DTG is in danger. Out of every method, I think DTG is in danger. I think people will still have DTG printers. I think DTG printers are the closest feel to screen printing. I believe that their quality, and when it's done right, they last very, very long. But with DTF printers out and the technology improving, I think DTG printers are in danger, serious danger. And I still really think that some companies, DTF is like their worst nightmare, unless they're selling DTF printers. Even if they are selling DTF printers, I think a lot of companies, DTF is like their worst nightmare, and they have to. But in this industry and in your businesses, you guys have to reinvent yourselves, and you guys have to do things to to innovate and to move forward with the industry, or else you're going to get left behind. And that's what's happening right now with DTF printers for the companies that primarily sell DTF transfers. Interesting times in the garment decorating industry. Do you think DTG has the best feel? That might just be outsourced thing. I think DTG does have a great feel. I think sublimation, there's no feel. So let's just say that. Sublimation, there's no feel. I think DTG has a great feel. DTG is the second best to me. If you're talking about feeling a shirt and then feeling it after you print it, I say DTG is the second best. Not even screen printing, DTG. And then screen printing. Because screen printing, you can definitely feel the texture of screen printing. In screen printing, you can print lightly or you can print a whole lot of ink. So that's questionable too. It depends on how you want your shirt done, right? So I think sublimation, you can't feel anything, right? Then I think screen printing and DTG could be right there next to each other. Then comes every other method. Then comes DTF, because DTF does leave more of a feel than DTG. And then comes white toner, and then comes vinyl and everything else, right? That's what I think. But DTG does have a better feel than DTF, 100%. Sublive or Silky Socks has a great feel because it's sublimation. You don't feel anything. I missed embroidery. I would love a simple beginner friendly machine. Any suggestions? The simple beginner friendly machine is, can you see it? Right there. The Brother SE600 single needle embroidery machine. That's the beginner, simple, easy single needle machine right there, the Brother SE600. That's what I started off with. That'll get your feet wet, get you to understand embroidery, understand tension and stuff like that, and understand what you're doing. You might even dibble and dabble in some digitizing. And then once you jump into a multi-needle machine, you'll have a grasp on the concept more, because coming from a single needle, it'll be easier transition, and it's less of an expense to get into than to buy. You know, you're going from a couple hundred, couple thousand. All right, big difference. Both worth the investment. All right. And with screen printing, there is a difference between water-based and plastisol. There's another variable too. Yeah, and then water-based, I think water-based feels better than plastisol, right? So there's variables in screen printing too. And screen printing, the barrier to entry, there's a whole lot of other, it's not just you buy a screen print machine. You got a whole bunch of other machines to get too. And then you got a whole big learning curve with doing separations and burning screens. That's, screen printing is a whole animal by itself. I think that's another method that needs to be put off by itself, because I think every method should be by itself, because every method is so different if you think about it. Vinyl, different, right? Different types of vinyl. It's different. It's not comparable. I'd say DTF and DTG are comparable. It's almost the same process, right? DTF and DTG. But DTG printer, you have to pre-treat the shirts. DTF printer, the powder acts as the pre-treat. So it's so interesting times, and we got so many different options. But guys, I'm gonna break out of there. I just want to give you guys some things to think about to get your wheels turning. Do you guys think I have a point about the companies and like, wait a minute, what did we just do? Technology's been around. We're just getting it here. I'm going to leave it at that. We're just getting it here, but it's been here. It's been around, but it hasn't been here, but we're just getting it here. And I'll just leave that at that. But what do you guys think? How do you guys think they feel about it? I think they're seeing what's going on and they're like, oh man, I think we messed up. But it was inevitable. It was going to happen anyway, because it's been around and people have been converting and starting to tiptoe into it, and now it's a huge opportunity. So, oh, A-Dubb Nation. Appreciate the knowledge. Someone had to speak on it. Yeah. Interesting times, guys. Interesting times, and it's a great opportunity for all of us to make a whole bunch of money. So don't be afraid. Do research. Look around. See what other people are doing. See what other people are using. But the majority of this equipment is great equipment. There's a few exceptions, but even the exceptions, you'll see people using those machines and having success with it. So it's like, what's an exception to you or me might not be an exception to somebody else, because, you know, if somebody's human and you're human and they get theirs to work and you can't get yours to work, what's the issue? The issue is you couldn't figure it out, and they could. That's the issue. Could be that you might have to work out a few bugs with yours, but at the end of the day, if you want to get to the dollar, you got to work out the bugs, and that's what you got to do. And that's what you're going to have to do in business anyway. Even if you got the best working machine, you're still going to have to work out the kinks and the bugs and getting your business to be profitable. So that's all I'm saying, and any which way you look at it, you're going to have issues, whether it be with the equipment or your business. You're going to have issues. So deal with those issues and get to the money. Spend the money that's going to make you more money. And hope I got you guys thinking a little bit. So talk to you guys in the next video. I'm going to invest in clothing business. Should I go sublimation or DTF? Vinyl is very time consuming, but don't always like the polyester. You got to decide what you want to do in your business and go for that. I would say just go on AlanAwade.com, submit all your designs, and let me sell you your DTF transfers. I will sell you DTF transfers because I have DTF printers and I can get it to you next day. Get it out to you the next day. All right. So that's what I would advise you to start off with. And then if you want to buy your own DTF printer, get your own DTF printer. But I believe that you should have both DTF and sublimation in your shop and not just one. So that's my take on that. Not just one, not sublimation or DTF, sublimation and DTF, and embroidery, and vinyl, not or, and. This is what I think. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Got to get home. Talk to you guys on the next video. Hope I got your wheels turned a little bit. And see you guys next video. Peace. Strong peace. Love you guys. All right. Take care, man.